Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be sharing with you how I made this beautiful dress with side gathers and puff sleeve. If this is what you're interested in, stay tuned and let's get started. Materials that I used: 4 yards of Mikado fabric, a little piece of doll face satin. Is not actually up to 1 yard. I use it for only the top part, matching thread, matching zipper, and of course your sewing machine. To draft the upper part of this dress, I'll begin by dividing this paper into two, separating the front from the back. I'll separate this paper by dividing it into two equal halves. Alright, so I'll first of all mark a starting line. So this line right here is the shoulder or the starting line. Okay, so I'm going to be starting with the front block. Now I'm going to start by marking her armhole length. To get the armhole length, you divide bust by 6 and add 2.5. Her bust divided by 6 plus 2.5 is 8.5. I'll mark that here from the shoulder line. Next line I'll be marking is her shoulder to bust point. Her shoulder to bust point is 10 inches. I will also mark that out. Next line I'll be marking is her shoulder to underbust. Her shoulder to underbust is 14 inches. Now the next line is her half length. Her half length 17 inches. Okay, so this is the shoulder, this is the chest, this is the bust point, this is the underbust, and this is the half length. All right, so from the center front, I will mark half of her shoulder, 7.5. Drop the shoulder by 1 inch. Before I connect it, I'll mark 3 inches neck width and 3 inches neck depth. So I will curve out the neckline. Now I'll connect the neck to the shoulder. Now on this chest line here, I'll also mark half of her shoulder and then connect to the shoulder drop like so. Okay, on the bust point, I'll mark half of her bust span, her nipple to nipple, divide by 2, that is 3.5. And I'll also mark same on the waistline. I will connect with a straight line. So I'm going to be taking that on the waistline. I like to use 0.75, which is 1.5 in total, and I will connect to the bust point. Okay, now that we are done with that, we'll go ahead and impute the body circumference. Her bust divided by 4 is 9 inches. Her waist divided by 4 is 7.5. I will add 1.5, making 9 inches. So I am basically replacing that here. So I'll go ahead and connect the chest like so. Alright, so to curve the armhole, I will simply get the midpoint of the armhole from the shoulder drop to the chest line. 7.5 divided by 2, that is 3.75. So I'll simply come in 0.5 and curve the armhole with the armhole curve. So I place the curve in a way it's touching the armhole depth, touching the shoulder drop, and touching the chest line. Okay, so I'll go ahead and curve it out. Moving on, I will mark the difference between the front and the back. Now her back waist length is 14 inches and the front waist length is 17 inches. That makes the difference between the front and the back for her to be 3 inches. So from the bust point here, I'll mark 3 inches. I will simply connect that point to the bust point. I'll get the mid point of this side, that's 1.5 inches. Then I will come out by 0.5 because she's not big. If she was bigger, I would come out by 0.75. So I'm going to simply connect this point straight to the waistline and to the chest line. That it will have, next I'm going to have to determine the off shoulder depth. I will measure from the shoulder line. I'll come down 7 inches. So I have to just extend the dart to this 7 inches. So I'll mark 3.5, extend the bust point to the off shoulder line. Okay, so to tighten here, this her round chest is supposed to be 5.5 inches in order to avoid gaping. Okay, 5.5 inches. So I'm simply going to measure 5.5 inches from the center front and mark it here. Then I will note the SS, which is 1.5. Okay, so I'll simply take 0.75, 0.75. Hope you see what I'm doing. I'm going to also tighten the underbust. The underbust is supposed to be 7.5 inches. So I'll mark 7.5 inches. I'll replace this dart after marking the 7.5. This is 0.75. So I'll note it again. Then measure the remaining inches left. This is 1 inches. So after measuring the underbust and adding the dart, is still having excess of 1 inch. So I'll just simply put 0.5 here and 0.5 here. All right, then connect to the bust point and straight down. I want to close the side dart and I opened the center dart, so I will close the side dart now. Watch what I am doing. So this is basically all for the front pattern. Okay, let's move to the back pattern. So when we are done with the back pattern, we'll cut out everything at once. Armhole depth 8.5, net dart to the line, a back half length 14 inches. Come in 1 inch on the waistline. This is to tighten any zip bulge, so it gives a perfect fit for the back pattern. All right, so I'll continue by marking half of her shoulder on the shoulder line. I'll mark 3 inches neck width from the center back there, 3 inches. Connect shoulder drop to the 3 inches. Her nipple to nipple divide by 2 on the waistline. I'll mark 3.5 straight. Now I will take 0.5 darts, 0.5 darts and connect just 1 inch before the chest line. Okay, next I want to impute her bust measurement. So from this line, not this one, from this line I will mark 9 inches, which is exactly what I have. From this line here, not this one, I will mark her waist measurement plus the 1 inch dart, which is 8.5, and I have it right here. Back armhole is not as deep, it's not always as deep as the front, so I'll simply place the armhole curve on it and just curve out. So the deepness of her back, her center back is deeper than the other part, so I'll leave it at 9 inches. Sorry, I'll leave it at 8.5 inches. The deepness of the back, I'll leave it here. Then on this side, I will come down by 7 inches. I'm going to simply connect from here to here. So now I'll take this that leg up. I'll take this that leg up. Okay, I'll take it to this point. So I'm going to tighten this place to avoid gaping. So I will use 0 0.5, 0 0.5, 0, 0. Center back. I'm making arrows side back. It's time to cut, 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 cut. Front and back. Okay. So after minusing the half length from the full length of the dress, her skirt length is to be 35 inches. So 35 inches is what I have from this waistline mark here to the end of the paper. Okay, so I've divided this pattern into two parts. This part is going to be the front part, while this part is going to be the back part. This line here indicating the zipper allowance line. I am going to mark waist to hip and waist to knee. Waist to hip 10 inches, waist to knee 19 inches. So this is the waist, the hip, knee line, skirt length. So from the center skirt front, I'll mark her waist divide by 4. On the hip line, I'll mark her knee hip divide by 4. And I'm going to connect. So I'll basically take what I have here all the way down, which is 10 inches. So I'm just using my hand to reshape this because I don't want the hip to have like a sharp pointy edge. So that's it for the front block. To the back pattern, the only contour I will have on the back is on the waistline. You remember on the upper part I used 1 inch to tighten the waistline. Okay, I'll come up by 2 inches from here. So I came in by 1 inch and I'll connect on to this point 2 inches before the hip line. Please note that this half inch is what I will use to join it to the top part. Excuse me. Her waist divide by 4 and mark 7.5. On the hip line, I'll measure her hips divide by 4. I'll mark her hips divide by 4 rather, and I'll connect line. So what I have on the hip line, I'll put all the way down. I'll place on the knee line and on the hem line. Okay, so this is it. Let me try using this curve. Yes, perfect. Now let's curve out the side. Now on the side from the waist, I'll come down by 4 inches, 4 inches like this. From the center, I'll come in by 4 inches. I'll actually mark the 4 inches all the way down. So from the bottom part, I'm going to connect straight. Okay, from here, I'll simply curve it into this place. Let me extend it up a bit. Then I'll just this will be cut out like this. So I'll use the front cutout to place on the back matching them side by side. Go ahead and curve it and trace out the curve. So from the center back here, I'll also mark 4 inches all the way. Okay, so that's it for the skirt pattern. I'm going to cut it out now. Label front and back. It's, even though it's almost the same thing, but you know, just to be on a safer side. Now this is the cutouts on the skirt pattern. We are going to be slashing this. We'll slash it into 3, 2, 4. You can measure 2 inches apart or use your eye to gauge. So this pattern right here is the front side cutout. You can see the front side. Okay, so I slashed them in 3 pieces and separated them by 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches gap is what I used to separate them. I'm not going to be cutting this in 2 pieces. I'm going to be cutting it as 1 piece. This side is going to be closed. Okay, so I just want to have only 2 pieces that will join on one side and the other side. So I'm going to be cutting this out now. So the only place that I'm adding allowance is at this side that I'll be attaching it to the skirt, to the main skirt rather. Okay, so I'll just add 1/2 inch here, then half inch all around the top part, half inch, half inch, half inch. Then the down part you can add hemming allowance of any inches that is suitable for you. So here is for the back part. So I thought instead of going ahead to still slash the back side cutout and you know, and start separating it and all of that, so I decided to use this front piece to cut another one that will be serve as the back part. I hope you understand. Okay, so since they are basically the same shape, the same, you know, pattern, so I thought it's better to just go ahead and use this one to cut out for the back part. And this is the side. You can see the side is on fold here. So this now, this is the this is the back, the center back side. This is center back side. Remember to add zipper allowance on the center back side. So this is my zipper allowance that I marked here. Okay, so I thought to show you before I go ahead to cut it out. Okay, so I'll just Okay, this is the skirt part. I have gone ahead to pin the gathered side on the skirt, as you can see when pinning it, okay, or when sewing it. So this is the inside. So I'll be stitching from the bottom part all the way to here and stop. Okay, come over to this other side, stitch from the bottom part all the way to this curved point and stop, to this curved point and stop. Okay, then I'll turn it to the right side. I'll turn it to the right side and then stitch on top of this. On this side'll stitch on top. Okay, so I'll do the same to the both sides. So I'm gonna have to attach the gathered parts to the skirt, and this is the outcome. So before I go ahead and attach the upper part to the skirt part, we'll work on the sleeve first. This is fabric for the sleeve, for the two sleeves. Okay, so this is measured at 15 inches length, and the part I'll be gathering is at 37 inches. 37 inches. So 37 inches by 15 inches. Okay, so and there are two for the both sleeves. I will fold it into two, like so. I'll mark out sewing allowance by the side. I'll be folding this in to create the elastic channel.
So this is the elastic I'll be using to gather the sleeve. The shorter one will be for the upper part, while the longer one will be for the lower part. So the longer one is measured at 10 inches, while the shorter one is measured at 9 inches. So I'll go ahead and use the safety pin to poke through the elastic and start passing it into the channel.